Finally, today, a special treat. Dr. Dave Lalman takes us behind the scenes at the OSU lab to learn all about forage testing.
Hello, I'm David Lalman. I'm an extension beef cattle specialist here at Oklahoma State University. 20 years ago, we didn't have available and cost-effective ways to analyze forages for minerals, but we do have today. And so we're here. I'm here with Kendal Henderson at the Soil and Water at Forage Analytical Laboratory on the campus of Oklahoma State University. Welcome, Kendal.
Thank you.
So Kendal, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about the process when you receive samples from producers out in the state. What happens next?
Sure. So most of our samples come through the county extension office. So the county has these sample bags that the producer can either take home and put them in there, or they can do it at the county extension office.
Okay.
So then the extension office mails us the samples, and we log them into our system. We weigh them, we dry them, we weigh them again, and then we grind them here on our forage grinder.
All right, so you just got a forage sample in, for example. Now, how do you go about drying that sample?
So this sample will go into our large oven overnight at 100 degrees Celsius.
100 degrees Celsius, so what, 12, 14, 16 hours?
16 hours.
Okay.
Yep, and
all
hopefully
right.
it dries.
Very good. So the next thing we're going to do is grind it.
Yep. So the grinder not only chops it up, but it also helps homogenize the sample.
Homogenize.
Yes, so now we can mix it, and we'll subsample from this to get the mineral content.
So you mix it up good, and then you pull the subsamples for the analysis, whether you're doing fiber, minerals, whatever.
Yes.
All right, so now we have it ground and we're ready to go into the laboratory and start with the analysis.
That's correct.
Let's go do that. Okay, so now we have our forage sample ground, we've got it dried, and we're ready to move to the next step. And what is the next step then in the process?
So the next step is we take about 1/2 gram of that and we weigh it out into one of these cups here. And then we'll add nitric acid to it, and we'll heat it up in a hot block, and that's called a digest. So we'll digest those nutrients, and that solid will actually turn into a liquid.
Okay, and so at this point, those minerals that was in the forage sample are now floating around in that nitric acid, which is why you're wearing those gloves.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So then what do we do with the liquid sample at this point?
So now that we have a liquid sample, we can take it to our ICP, or inductively coupled plasma analyzer.
Okay. So in general, can you kind of tell us how it works?
Sure, exactly. I'd be happy to. So what we do is we take this sample, we put it on our auto sampler, and some of that sample gets pumped up over the pump. It comes through this little tube and it comes in here into the spray chamber.
Okay.
So that creates a really fine mist in the sample. Some of that sample actually goes up into that plasma. That plasma is 9,000 Kelvin, about the temperature of the sun right now.
Wow.
So when that sample goes up into the plasma, it superheats it, and so it causes the electrons on the outer shell to jump a layer. And when they jump that layer, they emit different wavelengths of light.
Okay.
So the light coming off of that superheated sample goes into a little tube right there, and then it shines in here, and we can read we have a wavelength reader in here that we can read all the different elements.
So it winds up reading the specific wavelengths that are related to that particular element or mineral that we're interested in analyzing.
That's correct.
That is way cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
with this machine, we can run like about 15 different elements on that one sample in about 1 minute.
Okay, well, I can tell you, our producers are going to be really interested in a lot of those different mineral elements that are very important in mineral nutrition for beef cattle. So maybe the last question then, can you tell us what all this costs?
So for one mineral analysis, it's $15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, 20 years ago, that would have been $75, and you'd had to ship it to Michigan or something.
Absolutely.
So,
there are private labs that do it, but they still charge a couple $100s. So, us being a nonprofit, we're here to serve the people of Oklahoma, so we can charge $15.
So, Kendal, thanks for just sharing the kind of the fundamentals of what you do here in the laboratory, and we're really grateful for this service. Today, it's a lot less expensive and a lot more convenient to have an analysis on the mineral concentration in your forages And that can lead to more confidence in the decisions that you make on the farm. And so we encourage people to get those analyses conducted and work with your extension educator or your area livestock specialist, and they can help you have confidence in your mineral nutrition program. And if you'd like more information on how to send a sample into the laboratory, just go to the SUNUP website, sunup.okstate.edu.